So hello and welcome. This is Erika Glessing, and I'm the host of the Happiness Telesummit. And this year, we're focused completely on releasing judgment, because what could be more fun than that? And I have with me a gorgeous author from the new book, The Power of Releasing Judgment. Welcome, Erika James.
Thank you.
Yeah, your chapter, Judgment, Schmudgement. I love it. That is the coolest. And Erika and I share things besides our name, although it's different spellings. We are also moms, and we also have high-performing athletic children.
Busy.
Yeah, and there's when we walk in those rooms with all those athletic parents of high-performing children, not much judgment there.
No.
Everywhere we go, we basically experience this sense of just people having thoughts about us and how does that work in our lives, and what can we do to change that, Erika? And welcome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the parenting thing did add a different layer to the judgment, because I like thinking about judgment in my whole life, and where it started and everything. And then, it was just about me, really. And then you add parenting and your children, and it's like you're comparing everything you do and your children and everything to everyone else as well. So yeah, it's been an interesting ride for sure.
Yeah. Tell me about that thing that you talk about in your chapter where you're like, I would say that mom was great, but I wasn't. Or I would say, why did they have so much going on? Why was their house clean when my house wasn't? Or, it's like that looking outside of us and then judging ourselves to be less than. Let's really kind of jump into that energy of that, because I think when we can stop feeling that, it's like life changes dramatically.
Yeah. I like the saying of comparing your insides to other people's outsides, because that's really what it is. For me, it was like thinking, comparing all of the insecurities and all the judgments I have about myself to just how perfect everyone else is on the outside. And, someone could look back at me and think the same thing, but in my mind, I am, the one who is not doing as well as they are. So, it's probably everyone feeling the same way and looking at things the same way, but it's really just judging myself. I'll speak for myself only, but comparing my insides to other people's outsides has been with parenting. When my kids were little, I would think, I would go, sorry, my son just snuck past. I knew he was going to show up right now. I had two kids right away. They were 15 months apart. So I just had chaos. I was trying to figure out how to be a mom, and then again, a mom with two. So I had this one friend who I love dearly, but she seemed to just have everything together.
Right.
And, the other moms in the little play groups, you go to their house, I go to their houses, and, they seemed to have everything together, and their house was perfect. And, they had cooked meals on the table every night, and they just didn't seem frazzled. And, and I would think, oh my God, I suck. I'm just,
right.
what are they doing? What secret do they have that I wasn't given, and, and my mom was good. So, she wasn't, but she didn't give me some handbook to tell me how to do it all. And, later what I realized was, a lot of these women I was comparing myself to, first of all, they weren't trying to do it all themselves. Where I was, like, I had some things thinking, I judged myself if I couldn't do it all myself.
Right.
Letting go of that. But also, they really didn't have it all together. They really weren't super happy all the time. I'm not saying they were unhappy, but I don't know, And
even if they were happy, that's not, it doesn't matter, really, because where you are, like, I look at someone whose kids now, like I was talking about one of our authors, she has like twin babies. Twin babies demand so much different of you than my kids who are teens. It's like, I can teach classes now. When they're little, they might scream and wake up at any given time. And if people paid to take classes from me, and I'm like, and I remember one time I was teaching a class and it was off-site, And sure enough, the babysitter, the baby bonked. They couldn't reach me. It was like 3 hours, right?
Right. That's all.
Couldn't
Right.
reach me.
Yeah.
I meet them at the emergency, you know, in my class, meet them at emergency. It is like a Band-Aid. It's seriously, I mean, it was a bonk. I'm not lying. It was a bonk. And I'd rather she erred on the side of, you know, going to the hospital with, so my daughter at age 3 got to go. So, I mean, all my fears were realized. Oh my gosh, I go out and teach a class and look what happened.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then I go through like, you know, 8 more years of like judging myself to be wrong for wanting to teach, you know? And finally I was kind of like, you know what? Well, first of all, they got older, so everything changed. But second of all, I'm happier when I'm teaching. And I
Right.
had to kind of like, Erika, it's like I had to, I couldn't keep making myself small.
Right.
I just couldn't do that anymore. It's like
Right.
I couldn't, you know?
No, and that's, you know, oh, am I in, do I have my kids in the right classes? Are they taking enough activities, you know? And I started to realize that just because everyone else was doing it, it didn't mean it was the right thing to do for me and my kids. And we didn't need to fill our space and our schedule with all these things to do. And maybe my kids didn't really thrive in that and they didn't like it. You know, they kind of like to be home. And to stop thinking everyone else was the expert was really, in a lot of different ways.
Thank you.
Yeah, not just in parenting, but, you know, other people aren't the expert on what works for me. And that's what I realized with my friend Dawn.
Yeah.
You know, she had her way of doing things.
Yeah.
And I tried to like emulate her and be like, well, this is how she does it. And then I realized like, this isn't working for me. And okay, well, what works for me and my creative, you know, non-linear kind of way to do things? And why don't I work with my own abilities instead of trying to be something I'm not?
Nice.
So, you know, instead of trying to work on your weaknesses or whatever weakness is, you know, whatever that is, but to build on what comes naturally and what's easy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I had to get help for cleaning the house.
Right. Get help.
But I get paid more to like, you know, write and edit than I would to clean a toilet. So I went, you know, to make a lot more money. I'll make $200 in that time. I'll give $100 to the house cleaner. She'll do 3 or 4 hours of work. I'll leave with more money and my house perfectly clean. Joy.
Right. But even moms who, you know, if they don't make money or they don't go to work, you know, they're working all the time. But if they get that help and it makes them happier, it makes them a happier mom, you know, they're happier if they're married, their husband comes home, the husband's happier. I mean, it really spreads beyond just, you know, oh, I don't feel like cleaning my house, you know? So I think just realizing not having to do it yourself and not thinking everyone else does do it themselves. That's where I was like, well, they just have this secret, and they don't. Their secret is they don't try to do it themselves. Or justify it or feel like, you know, bad if you don't. Like I wasn't a failure because I wanted to get help, you know?
So tell me a little bit about you and your work and kind of how people can reach you and just kind of tell us a little bit about Erika.
Well, Erika, I do intimacy and relationship and sex coaching. And yeah, so I've had a rich history and experience of all sorts of things in life. I also do addiction coaching. So I'm really good at quitting self-destructive habits and helping people see, right. I mean, seeing where the patterns are and digging into, it's really not about the action or the behavior. It's, you know, like the comparing, it's, you know, seeing if you're less, you know, realizing where you're feeling less than, or where you put yourself as less than others, or, you know, where things are hanging you up and getting you stuck. So,
well, let me throw that at you then, because that was just too interesting not to just ignore it. But in intimacy and sex, tell me how judgment kind of like is this, you know, wrench in it, or how we can let go of judgment in that specific area, if you're comfortable talking about that.
Okay. My daughter's going in the shower now, so that's good. Where the judgment comes with intimacy and sex. I think, that could be again, you can assume your partner's judging you and you shut down before they even walk in the door. It could be something as simple as that. It could be judging your body, judging yourself as not as pretty or sexy, or, judging your body. It first comes with just being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
And I was probably 2 years sober when I realized who I saw myself as on the inside finally matched my outside. Like they were one. And that sounds really simple, but like I had realized I had this awareness. I was always being somebody, like playing a role, putting on this persona for the world, but inside I felt like I was just small and not doing a good job and all that. But then getting comfortable in my own skin and realizing, first of all, if somebody is not going to like me, I'd rather have them not like me for who I am. Instead of deciding they don't like me and they didn't even get to see the real me and know the real me, they never even got a chance to not like the real me. Yeah. They're not liking some fake me, which is silly, right? So, at least if you can have a truthful barometer of who's really in your life for the real reasons. And when I realized, like, oh my God, my insides match my outsides, it was a really cool realization because I had become comfortable in my own skin. And I'd stopped judging my body. I'd stopped judging, your thoughts create your reality, and you judging every piece of food you put in your mouth as going to do something like make you fat or feel bad or it's bad for you. That kind of adds up with your body listens. It does whatever you're thinking and it does what you tell it. And while being intimate, if you're not enjoying it and you're not fully present, if you're thinking about other things or what you look like, or if your stomach looks fat, or if you're doing it good, or if they're doing it good, or whatever, you're not in that moment. So, just kind of like taking the time to really be present with the person that you are with, and whether you're in love with them or not, just be in the moment. It makes everything so much better.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much. And do you have a website or a Facebook page, or how can we find you?
I have a website. It's IamErikaJames.com.
Okay.
And I have a Facebook, and it is Erika James as well, with a K.
Awesome. Mwah. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. It went great.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.